It is time for another webisode to update you guys on the build status, sponsorship status, and some drift videos of the first comp that we're doing. So that's coming up here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be testing out the new setup at Leadfoot City, which is coming up this weekend. And I've never driven there, but friends say it's a really good time. So they are trying to build a new drift track and get that approved. So this is kind of the first event that they're doing in order to show that it's not going to be a nuisance and it's actually going to bring good people and money to the community. So first thing I want to show you guys is our new Kansai wheels. Kansai has been kind enough to sponsor us this season with I got 6 wheels right now, but 8 wheels from their lineup of Rokus, and we got the chromes. I think they're gonna look really good on the Vet, which I'm gonna get tires on today and then show you guys that. I think it's gonna look awesome. They are the perfect offset. I've already kind of done the research and measured them, so excited to do that. And then also want to show you guys our new silvers, which we just got in the mail today. So these are the silvers, Neomax. They are rocking the Swift springs. This is specifically for Corvettes for a drift setup. And these are 18K spring rate in the front and 10K in the rear. I had previously been running BCs, which I didn't install these BCs. They came on the car. I do love BCs. I've got them pretty much on every other car I run. However, these are blown out and abused, and they use the rubber bushings, which typically on the Corvettes they go out, and they weren't even the right spring rate. So the rears were fine, they were perfect. 10K in the rear, got me as low as I needed it to go, but the fronts were too soft and I had to put the sway bar back on, and that helped a lot. But these are only 7K in the front and I need 18K in the front. And as you can see, the bushings on these BCs for the Corvettes, they tend to go out pretty quickly. I think they've revised these quite a bit. This is an older set, but the new ones are probably a lot better. So as you can see, this rubber bushing on this side is starting to go already. The other side, this is completely gone. So I'm excited to get those on. Huge shout out to Silvers for sponsoring me. They got these shipped to me in 2 days. They're local here in Florida, and he was excited to sponsor me. Super nice emails going back and forth. I really like the designs on these. As you can see, there are no rubber bushings compared to the BCs. They've got this different design here. And I really like that because that's going to be way more durable with the abuse that I'm putting on here. And I got the upgraded Swift springs, so it's gonna feel so good on the car, way smoother. And I got the ultra low coilovers, so these are gonna allow me to get even lower or just have the proper dampening travel with the height that I'm trying to run on this car. So these are really nice. I am impressed with the quality. They are super clean. They look good. Some design improvements compared to the BCs, so we're gonna get these on and test them out too. A couple of other things here. I actually changed the car's setup quite a bit before the coilovers and got way more planted on the ground. Started putting a lot more mechanical grip in the rear. I took the sway bar out of the rear, which gave me more grip. I kind of put the sway bar back in the front. It has been rubbing against the coilover spring. I don't know if the Swift springs are gonna help or make it worse, but with the 18Ks, I can get rid of the sway bar again if I need to. But I finally found these shortened little links that allowed me to put this in, because with the factory OEM links, it just was like in the coilover. It was not letting me install them, so. I also have an oil leak somewhere we gotta find today. I think it's oil, could be power steering or something else, but it is definitely some kind of fluid that I don't want leaking under there. My AC went out too. I lost a AC belt during spring break bash. You can click here to watch the spring break video if you haven't already. It's a really good time. I lost both my belts, serpentine and AC. AC belt wrapped around the compressor and pretty much just ruined it. I don't know if there's belt tangled up in the clutch and hold it, like, I don't know if there's belt that got tangled up in the clutch on the compressor or something and destroyed it, or if it just like just put so much overdrive or held it down or whatever. So I got a new one of those we're gonna put in. Got the new belts, everything like that. Also installed a fan on my oil cooler, and I just tied it into the radiator fans, and that is helping me keep my oil temps down. And I got a new master from Tech Performance. This thing is badass. It is working really well. It eliminated the spring in the clutch pedal, and so now I have a much more direct feel, and the clutch is smoother, and I can adjust the engagement point. It's really nice. So happy with that. I've got a bunch of parts to install that I'm not going to do yet, but I've got some performance upgrades coming down the road for another video. Over here, got some injectors, fuel rails, throttle body, fast 102 intake. We're gonna get a little more power out of this baby, tune it better, and get overall more reliable performance. The rears aren't too bad, just old, so I'll clean them up. We'll probably sell them. Keep them as spares. But let's check out the differences here. So obviously we've got the Swift springs. This mounting portion here is much thicker, so overall definitely heavier duty than the BC mounting points. The collars are thicker as well. Looks like you can definitely get lower on these silvers because there's no bottom to bottom out, whereas the BCs you'll hit the bottom and it will stop. So these will keep going. That's where the ultra low comes into play. So yeah, it looks like the silvers are offset as well. You can see the BC is pretty centered for the top hat, and the silvers actually are off center. So that's obviously to help with your travel so that it's actually not bending the little piston inside the damper, but I don't know which side it's supposed to go on, so I'll play with that. Another thing to note here, look how much thicker the damper rod is. It's gonna be much sturdier under load. So this is a very different design, and I like it for sure. So the BCs are like mounted upside down from your traditional coilover, where the spring's on the bottom, and the rubber grommets and everything like that sit on top inside of the strut tower here. So this is the factory bushing type thing that the BC goes over or into, and this is blown out, as you can see. And you know, here's a chunk of it that came out, and I had to actually hammer that out because it was just like kind of stuck sideways. So other than that, the BC's held up all right, but the bushings that they use are not holding up. This one's not too bad, but the other side, this is completely gone, and this one's cracking here. So as you can imagine, that's not good. It gives you a bunch of extra play in the car. I'll just show you the other side now. So this is the other side. This is deteriorated completely. You can see it's just cracking and falling apart, falling out. This rubber bushing is gone. So this was just loose. Not much you can do about it once it's gone. So yeah. This is a much better design because you take that rubber bushing out and you replace it with a much thicker piece here. So not only are the threads much thicker, but you also have this mount that goes to a heim joint, and that heim joint is going to last forever instead of rubber. So cool. So we're gonna get the fronts in now. The height adjustment is going to be way different on the fronts. The rears I just matched up because they're both 10K springs. I'm going from a 7K to an 18K in the front, which is the proper setup, and it's going to be a lot stiffer, so it's not going to settle as much. So it's going to be trial and error. We got the fronts on, and this is the new fitment. I gave it a little bit extra to compensate for the spring settling, even though they're much higher spring rates, so they shouldn't really settle that much. I wanted it to be a little higher anyways because I was rubbing on the other side in here, and it was a little too close to the trailer when I was loading it. So this is perfect. It is, you know, 2-finger fitment for drifting. That's like perfectly fine. I'm not trying to go at any car shows or anything like that. I've got the new wheels that are going to go on here. I just got to swap these tires on there, and then we're going to show you that. But let me show you the coilovers once they're installed, because I really like the way that they're engineered to be used with the sway bar versus the VCs. All right, so this is our baseline setup. This is what we're going to try out this weekend. This is basically the super low kit, and I did the threads so that it's the bottom of every thread engaged. So from this point forward, I can go lower. I wouldn't go any higher. This is kind of the highest setting I would want to run, and it's perfect right now. So if I need to go lower, I'll go lower. So you can see that with a sway bar, and Silvers has an option with or without a sway bar at an 18K rating. So I'd imagine that the design here changes. So with the sway bar, on the BCs I had an issue where the springs actually sit here and the sway bar rubs against those springs. So Silvers, when you add the sway bar option, now you've got the spring up on top, so you've got this clearance here, so it's not going to rub. And under compression, the spring will compress up here and not interfere down here. So I really like that. Obviously this top design, this is going to be very solid now. I don't have to worry about any rubber bushings or anything like that. Very easy to adjust here for the dampening. It's a nice solid click so you can count. Swift springs obviously are very nice. And yeah, it's pretty easy to install. Pretty easy. Got my sway bar back. So we're all set. We're ready to try it out. I'm excited. Just got to throw the new wheels on, or new tires on the wheels, and then I'm gonna fix my AC compressor right now, which I'm just gonna do off camera. It's just swapping out OEM compressor with another OEM compressor, and then I should have some AC again, thank God, because it is getting very hot out. Cool. So yeah, let's go to Leadfoot City and test everything out. Make sure it's, you know, all Gucci. Get my tuning dialed in, get the alignment, and then next after that is Clean Culture Catch My Drift 50K competition. So really excited, gonna be gripped up in this car. It's gonna feel awesome. So here she is in all her glory. She feels fantastic, way better on the suspension. These wheels are awesome. Super happy with this car right now. I can't wait to drive it and see how it actually drifts. It should be a way better setup. It might take me a couple laps to get used to since it's so different from the 7K fronts I had. So I'm excited. Look at that fitment. Alright, So we're here at Leadfoot City. They got a sick setup. There's a whole compound I'll show you guys. We've got a little track laid out. They gave us a little driver's meeting and showed us what the plans are for the future, which I'll go over as well. But I think this place has some big plans and it's up and coming. So they have 80 acres out here. They only currently use 15, and they plan to make a huge drift track out there and racetrack, whatever else they're going to use. They also got approved for building that track with the city council, and they got a noise ordinance exemption until 1 a.m. when they do spectator events. So you can expect to have a lot of events out here that are going to be really rowdy, very noisy, with no issues up until 1 a.m. So think about when we do those 3-day events and people are staying overnight in their vehicles, and now they can drift till 1 in the morning. It should be a really good time. So we're just going to test out this little layout here and see how it goes, and then play some games later. Maybe do a little competition. Should be a lot of fun.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it. The way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it. The way you like it now. Yeah, you like it. The way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
Merrick has been voluntold to be a grid worker. Thank you for working the grid. I got you. Voluntold.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Can you guys check your engines real quick? We're gonna do a quick driver's update. Just a quick driver's update.
We can just tell individual drivers real fast and go through.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the track is going hot. The track is going hot. All grid workers, please be aware. That is what I'm talking about. How do you guys think about a new layout? Absolutely, we're here for you.
Just
Leadfoot City plans for that place are going to be awesome. It is a tight space for us to drift in, but the people there are cool, the vibe is cool, it is very well run. Achilles, the owner, gave us a full tour. It was really like well built. You can tell he's got a lot of time, a lot of money invested in that place. So if you are in the Brookesville area or anywhere around West Central Florida, definitely go check out Leadfoot City if you can. They have big plans for that place. It's gonna be up and coming East Coast top location for motorsports in general, not just drifting. Fun time, yeah. Let me show you what happened to the Corvette. So, as you guys saw, took a hit back here. Got first place overall on this little mini comp we did. Got, you know, some chemical guys cleaning products, but I got some work to do. Comp is next weekend. Luckily my bash bar saved me, but looks like he took out some of my brake lights, just unplugged them or whatever. But yeah, a little bit of a protrusion on the frame, or not the frame, but the bumper bar. But everything else looks solid. But yeah, I got some work to do. So I'm gonna unload right now. I wish I had taken more footage of Leadfoot City. Like they've got like a compound with food trucks, different buildings, all sorts of activities. They had little drift carts that you could ride for the kids. Like, it's very, very family oriented. They do a lot of like music and shows, and not just like motorsports, but like weddings and stuff like that. Like, it's a really cool facility. I'm excited to see how they expand that other acreage that they have. I mean, I've seen the plans, I can show you now, but it should be really cool, as long as they do it like they say they are. So awesome. All right, make sure you guys subscribe and like for future drifting content. The competition is gonna be coming up next weekend. That is gonna be the next video. It should be an awesome time. I am really hoping that I do well in the first round to kind of set a precedent for the future competitions. So yeah, check out my other videos. If you don't subscribe already, make sure you hit that button. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.